Hey guys, I know it's been a while since we've had a chat. Guess I just haven't really had a lot to chat about, so it makes it harder for me to motivate. But I have finished quite a few books and started some. Well, I finished a couple books and I've started quite a few books, and some I haven't quite started yet, but that's not neither here nor there. Anyway, some books have been read, and I have a lot of fun things to say. So I finally finished Shannon McNear's Mary. It's from The Daughters of the Lost Colony, 1590. This is actually book two. I need to read book one at some point. I love this book. At first, I wasn't sure if I liked it because it felt like it was very heavy on the historical information, and she because there's Native American people in this story, she uses a lot of their language throughout, like just words here and there and stuff. And I kept forgetting what the words meant, so I kept having to like go back and find where she mentioned it or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is like a challenge for me. Like I don't know if I like the language thing, but like here's the thing that totally was overshadowed by the incredible story that she wrote here. Like that was such a minor issue, and also the faith content. The faith content, my friends. This book is amazing. So you have a few different characters. I'm gonna try my best to remember their names and say them correctly. I'm not gonna say them correctly, but Manteo, I think his name is. He is kind of a leading figure throughout the story. I think he was in the first book. Was a big deal in the first book, but Manteo basically he is this Native American man who is able to kind of bridge the gap between the English and his tribe. So he's out here doing it. He has a daughter named Mushanik, I think. She ends up going by Mary. She's on the cover here. Eventually, that becomes her like her Christian name, right? Um, but um, yeah. So anyway, Manteo, he's amazing. So he becomes a Christian. At first, he just kind of does it because it's what the English want him to do. But then he ends up realizing that there is only one true living God, and He is awesome. And he realizes that their belief system is completely wrong. And I love how he ends up explaining their belief system and all the spirits that they've been serving as actually enemies, and that there's only one God and only one God that must be served, and that there is an evil place that, there is hell, they have a different word for it, but there is that place and that's real. And the spirits of the forest actually want them to go there. You know what I mean? Like they're the enemy, if you will. And he has a really powerful moment. I actually mean to highlight it at some point. I've lost it, but I need to find it again. But where he's going through the forest with different of the Englishmen, I think, and maybe members of his tribe, and because they're looking for some people, and he can feel like the spirits of the forest being like angry at him, and he ends up using a verse to call them out and say, you, God is with me, and y'all ain't gonna touch me, basically. And it was just such a powerful moment. I just loved it, and Mateo has a lot of moments like that. I really enjoy his chapters. But there's a lot of different things that happen in here. I'm not going to go into all of them because I don't want to spoil anything for you, but Mateo is one of my favorite characters. But they're also at the end ish. I'm not going to explain what happens at the end, but there was this extremely powerful moment. So another leading character. Oh my gosh, have I forgotten his name? Georgie. I haven't forgotten his name. Georgie is another leading character, and he goes on this like manhood kind of like I have to go on this journey to become a man thing. It's initiated by the tribe that they have integrated with, but it's about Manteo explains that it is no longer about spirits or anything like that, but it is about fasting and praying to the one true living God, and just finding out where you belong and who you are, kind of through this journey into manhood thing, kind of like a rite of passage. That's the word I'm looking for. And so Georgie goes on this. Now, Georgie, his father, I think in the first book you actually see it happen, but his father, my cat, he's just being a little bean today. He's a good boy. But his father was killed by a hostile tribe that was present when they landed. And so Georgie has been feeling some kind of way about that happening. And he's not quite sure what he believes. You know what I mean? I'm going to see if I can find it because that's another thing that Puppy. That's another one that I want to highlight. It was so powerful. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. I should have found it before. Okay, this is stupid. Anyway, he has a powerful moment where he basically is near the end of his journey, and my cat is not gonna stop screaming. He's so upset because it's nighttime. At nighttime, we come into my room, which is a very large room with expansive, like, they can run amok in this room if they want, and they often do. But he wants to be outside the room. But my mom's cat is getting outside the room time. They don't always get along, so that's why we just separate them. Anyway, so here, I think this is it. Yes, this is such a good part of the book. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I know it's near the end, but this doesn't actually spoil anything. So anyway, so a surge of frustration brought him to his feet. Where are you? I have wandered this forest for days, denied myself meat or even sleep, called out to you, and yet you do not answer. Are you even there, or do the... Oh no, it's a tribe name. I'm going to say it wrong. Is the Tuna Pewak have the way of it, and you simply left us here to do as we will and make the best of it, after you set the world into motion? A hush seemed to fall across the forest, as if the birds had even stopped to listen. If you are God, why do you not reply? I have said with my own mouth that I believe in your Son, but so did all the English who came here. So did my Da, who perished horribly that very first week. Where were you then? He collapsed again to his knees, shuddering with dry sobs, then threw back his head. A scream tore itself from his throat. Where were you? A breath, almost a whisper, caressed his skin. I was and am and ever will be with him and with you. There was nothing, nothing at all he could do in response to that besides fall flat on his belly on the forest floor, arms outstretched, face pressed into the leaves, his soul completely undone. Dude, the way that like rocks me to my core, because isn't that what we all want? Like, we all go through horrible things. Maybe not the death of a parent like Georgie, but we experience those moments when it feels like we are entirely alone. And there's nothing more terrifying than that. And I just love that there was like, she wrote in a response from God that is so biblical, by the way, so biblical, because he always is with us. He's never left us. And when we are his children, when we give our lives to Jesus, right? Like Georgie said, I believe in your son. But so did everybody else. And why is all this bad stuff happening? And he's like, no, but you believe in my son. You belong to me, and I'm here. I'm right here. And that's such a comforting feeling. I don't know. Like, it was really beautifully written. And Shannon McNair is just an incredible writer in general. So I would highly recommend this series, highly recommend these books. I definitely plan to check out more of her work and just see what's going on, because I freaking love it. The other book is, it has no dust jacket, but The Four Loves by C.S. Lewis. Another incredible read. Man, I can't. There were some incredible moments in this book. I highlighted this one quite a bit, but the the first chapter was rough for me. I'm not gonna lie, my friends. I was kind of like, what is this man saying? I was like, what is he talking about? This feels like the most convoluted thing I've ever read in my life. But once you get past like the first few pages, I would say maybe even the first chapter. The first chapter is a little bit like a weird introduction for me. But once I was past that, I'm like, oh, this is vibes. This is Lewis. Here he is. He's back. Um, so the friendship and the charity chapter were probably my favorites. But I was really interested in the friendship chapter, that it really brought up some really interesting things that I had no idea people were. I guess people have been wrestling with the same sins forever, right? But here, this is really interesting to me. Sorry, I just got caught reading. So he's talking about friendship and the importance between friends, right? And he says, this imposes on me at the outset a very tiresome bit of demolition. It has actually become necessary in our time to rebut the theory that every firm and serious friendship is really homosexual, which is like, thank you, but wow, we have to talk about that back then too. Oh my gosh. Puppy, come here. Come on. The dangerous word really is here important. To say that every friendship is consciously and explicitly homosexual would be too obviously false, which I completely agree with, obviously. But it's just crazy that even back in this time, in Lewis's time, they were having those issues. So interesting to me. But this is my favorite quote from the book. One of them, I should say. Those who cannot conceive friendship as a substantive love, but only as a disguise or elaboration of eros, betray the fact that they have never had a friend. Boom, roasted. I love that because it's basically like if you think that because two bros or two girls are bros, we're all friends. If you think that people of the same sex are friends, but you think that the only way they could be friends is romantically, or that romance has to be involved in some way, you're nuts. Like you've just never had a friend. I just love Lewis because he kind of just roasts people, but he says it so like fancy that you can barely catch the roast. I'm gonna see if I can find something from Charity. That was probably uh, yeah, I love this. So the main theme throughout the Four Loves is really that he does introduce in the beginning. So I'm not saying the beginning is all like crazy talk, but it was hard for me to follow. I don't know. But he basically says that if a love becomes a god, then it becomes a demon because it controls us, right? And it's not healthy for us to be obsessed over a friendship or a romance or any level of affection. Family, familial love, if any of that becomes the most important things in our lives, it becomes a demon. It becomes something that's controlling us, that's very dangerous. And so that's the core of it. Of course, God's love, if it overshadows God's love, right? Because like he has to be number one in our lives. That's period. Um, so he says, we shall draw nearer to God not by trying to avoid the sufferings inherent in all loves, but by accepting them and offering them to Him, throwing away all defensive armor. If our hearts need to be broken, and if He chooses this as the way in which they should break, so be it. So he's talking at this point about this is charity love, but he mentions, which is God's love to us, but he mentions that I think it was St. Augustine, he said, has said that like no love, if a love is painful in any way, if you have to grieve and feel lost when somebody passes away, then that's wrong and you are putting that love before God and you can't do that. So you should never love like that. You should never feel that broken. But he actually, Lewis says, you know what, that's not true. Like you should feel pain and sadness and sorrow when somebody passes from this world. You should have that, but we just have to give that suffering to God. He can help us through it because He gave us that precious person. There's nothing wrong with having a precious person. The problem becomes it becomes a problem only when that precious person is all we have. But if we as Christians put God first, we still have people to love and we should still love people. I mean, Jesus literally calls us to do exactly that. So a life is going to hurt and relationships are going to hurt and losing people is going to hurt. So there's no need to be a stoic, but it's important to just remember that God can heal every hurt and that He has it all planned out perfectly. It's not going to be fun all the time, but it's going to be the way that He intended. And I think for me, it's something that I'm learning right now. I feel like I'm going through a refining fire time, and I think it's great, and I'm excited to learn more. Another book that I actually don't possess but read was Elisa Childers' Another Gospel question mark book. It's about how a lifelong Christian confronts progressive Christianity. Now, if you haven't heard of progressive Christianity, it's basically Christianity, well, something that claims it's Christianity, but it's not, because it refutes almost everything that Christianity stands on, whether it's the atoning blood of Jesus or the why Jesus died for us, or just like the basic tenets, like Jesus being born of a virgin, or God of the Old Testament being loving and kind. He created everything. And anyway, the progressive Christians basically refute everything that makes God amazing and Jesus, who is God, of course, but makes him the amazing God and man that he was, that came to earth to save our lives. And it actually is quite crazy. But that book was an amazing breakdown of what these group of people believes and also how we can stand strong in our faith because we know what is true. The Bible is true. Jesus, all the things. And the thing is, there's historical records. Like, she didn't just say, oh, just believe and it's all good. No, she went digging into historical records. She went digging into the founding fathers of our faith and things like that. And really did the work, and it allowed me to be able to dig more into apologetics and things like that, which I'm really interested in right now because I think that is going to help my faith as well. I think every Christian should know where they stand. It's not just feelings, it's knowledge and understanding why we believe what we believe. So that was a really interesting book. I would highly recommend it to anybody, literally anybody. You need, well, Christians, I suppose, but you need to know what's out there and also to be aware of what's out there. Okay. So books that are on, well, I only have one that I'm in the middle of right now. I have The Scourge by Jennifer A. Nielsen. This is, of course, just fiction. Um, it is a book about a girl named Annie Mills. And Annie Mills, right now there's a scourge going around. The scourge is a disease that apparently just kills people, and that's it. There's really no way out. So everybody who's got the scourge gets rounded up and sent to an island called Attic Island, and which used to be a prison island, but now it's just a place for people who have the disease, and they get left there. Now, Annie and her friend Weevil got caught. Um, they kind of just got kidnapped by the government strong arm men or whatever. I don't know. I think they're called soldiers, but anyway, there's a governor, and she's not very nice. She's very shady. I mean, I'm sure she's behind most of whatever's going on here. And so Annie and Weevil are part of a group of people called the River People. Puppy, come here. We don't need to go outside. Come here. They're part of a group of people called the River People, and the River People seem to be kind of like they're like hillbillies, like nobody likes them, and the people who live in the town look down on them. So, the River People are quite poor and things of that nature. And I guess they were the initial people that brought the scourge when the first time it showed up, like 300 years ago or something. But now that it's back, they're suspecting that the River People are also behind it, that kind of thing. So I think that's why Annie and Weevil kind of got caught up in it, though of course they were wrongfully caught up. And initially they don't believe she has the scourge, but then they kind of like finagle it, and now she has a scourge. Like, it's very shady. Whatever's happening, like, I don't fully understand what's happening here. I know it's all a scam. I know that, but there are really people who are really sick, and so it's like not entirely a scam, but I think the government is actually making the disease happen. Puppy, you sound so sad, and you are not sad at all. Look at your sister; she's fast asleep. He doesn't listen to me. But I think it's a scam. So everybody who goes to Attic Island gets this bottle of medicine. I'm pretty sure this bottle of medicine is like poison or something. Annie got hers taken away by this other girl named Della, who's like a rich girl, and she's kind of mean. She's kind of terrible, but Annie kind of gives it right back to her, so whatever. But she is like obsessively drinking the medicine, and she seems to be getting worse, whereas Annie seems to be getting better when she's not taking her medicine. So I'm kind of like, okay, something's going on there. And Weevil doesn't even have any medicine, and people keep going missing from Attic Island. They keep telling them that like they're dying from the scourge, but I don't think that they are. So there's a mystery afoot. I'm about halfway through it. I'll probably be done with it in a couple of days if I have time to read, you know. But I don't have a lot of time to read. I'm trying to make sure that my primary objective is always my Bible and like biblical, like narrative nonfiction that is biblical. So that's always my priority, but I try to make time for some fun reading too. Not actually, all of that is fun. Bible reading and Christian nonfiction is all fun, just to be clear. But for just some fiction reading is what I'm trying to say. And I do currently have two that I'm going to be starting. So I've got, now that I finished The Four Loves, I can start on Mere Christianity, which I have been so excited to read for like so long. I cannot wait. I am so ready to read this book. It's not super long, so I'm really excited, but I also have this, and I really want to read Lee Strobel's The Case for Christ, so I might start this one first. But either way, I got two Christian nonfictions that I'm excited to read. But I think since I'm kind of on an apologetics journey at the moment, I might start with this one, especially after Elise Childers' book. So we'll see. Both of them are pretty hefty but they're not really long. It's just they feel hefty. But the thing about Christian nonfiction, or almost any nonfiction, but I pretty much just read Christian nonfiction, is that I like to take my time with it. I really want to read it and understand what they're saying. And just like when I read the Bible, I don't like zip through the Bible. Like I read it to understand it. And if I don't understand it, then I write down it like, okay, well, I don't get this, but I'm going to write it down, you know. I try to make sure that I take notes and I'm just mindful of what I'm learning, because this is what's important. You know what I mean? Like fiction is fun, and I have actually some new Christian nonfiction. I can show it to you. Um, that's not new, but these are. And not only that, but I'm also still working on my books. Okay, I have a trilogy out now, which I think I made you aware of before. I'm very grateful and blessed that that happened. But I'm working on other books. I have a middle grade book that I have in the works, and of course, everything has Christian themes throughout. Whether it's more allegorical or it's just themes, but definitely. And then I'm also continuing work on the world that I have. I have a prequel that I want to come out pretty soon, so I'm really working on that, but she needs a bit of a tweak, so it might be a while. But either way, we're still working, we're still writing, praise God. Let me show you these two. I got 4 new books. I am trying not to buy any more books. Sometimes I have a problem. And this I didn't buy. This I borrowed from a friend. Okay. Just to be clear. Okay, but these are all fiction, so that is different. So I got these all from Christian Book Distributors, I think is what it's called. So this is, I don't even know what this is going to be like, but Sarah Ella, The Wonderland Trials. It is the Curious Realities Book 1. I did see there was other books, but I don't like to buy a series. I like to buy one, see if I like it, and then go from there. Puppy. So this is obviously an Alice in Wonderland take. I always liked Alice in Wonderland. My only issue with fiction with it, especially secular fiction, is it usually gets very dark or very like sexualized or a number of other things. But so I'm hoping, since this was a Christian book, presumably, or at least I'm not expecting it to be Christian necessarily, but it's clean. I think it will be a good read and something fun and hopefully something nice. My little boy will not stop. He really wants to go out. He's crazy. So we'll see. If I like it, great. If I don't, great. It doesn't really matter. Then we've got Morgan L. Bus. I'm not sure. I've heard her name before, but I don't know in what. So, I've never read her, but I've heard her name before. So we have Secrets in the Mist, Skyworld Book 1. For some reason, I'm starting series. I am crazy, but this sounded really good. And I've heard, Buppy, come here. It's time. He's he's like, I'm just gonna keep crying until somebody lets me do what I want. Buppy, it's not best for you to go out. He doesn't agree. We're actually going to be going to bed in like a minute, so that's why he's in here, but he just doesn't want to. Anyway, Secrets in the Mist. So let me read the back. It says, in a world, oh, I love it. In a world where humanity lives in the sky to escape a deadly mist below, Cass's only goal is survival. That is, until she finds a job on the airship Daedalus as a diver. Now she explores ruined cities looking for treasure and people's lost heirlooms until a young man hires her to find the impossible, a way to eradicate the mist. Theodore Winchester is a member of one of the 5 families that rule the skies. Following in his father's footsteps, he searches for the source of the mist and hopes to stop the purges used to control overpopulation. But what he finds are the horrifying secrets and lethal ambition. If he continues his quest, it could mean his own death. The mist is rising, and soon the world will be enveloped in its deadly embrace, turning what's left of humanity into the undead. Sounds pretty good, right? I think it sounds really good. Bobby, come here and cuddle with me. He needs to just come here. Come here, come here. He's just being dramatic, trust me. If I was sitting on my bed right now, he would be all curled up and cozy. He would not be upset at all. He just thinks that I'm doing something, and so therefore he wants to do something. He's fine. Come here, Buppy. Come here. I call him Buppy. His name is Bean, but I call him Buppy. Buppy, come on. I know you just want pets. Come here. No, he's mad. He doesn't even want to come here. Okay. So Secrets in the Mist. Sounds like there could be a zombie situation. I'm excited. I think it sounds really interesting. I don't. It is like fantasy, so I don't know what the faith content is gonna look like. He's like trying to knock on my door handle. I don't know what the faith content. Puppy, come here. The drama. The drama has to end. I don't know what the faith content is gonna look like, but I'm really hoping that we get some good narrative themes that punch that home. You know what I mean? Come here, puppy. Come on. And then we've got Jodie Headland, who I've also heard of before. A Daring Sacrifice. It's just, look at the cover. She looks awesome. So, for 3 years, the cloaked bandit has terrorized Wessex, robbing the nobility by knife point and a well placed arrow. But little does anyone know this bandit is, in fact, Juliana Wessex, the rightful ruler of the land, and a girl her tyrannical uncle, the current Lord Wessex, believes was killed along with her father. Juliana has become skilled at hiding from Lord Wessex in the forest, using her stolen goods to provide food and shelter to the peasants her uncle has taxed into poverty. But when she robs Colin Goodrich, his name's Goodrich, her red hair betrays her true identity. Lord Colin remembers Juliana from their childhood and challenges her to stay on his estate for a week in hopes she will leave her thieving ways and become a proper lady once more. Juliana is intrigued by Colin and his charms, but only time will tell if he can overcome if she can overcome. Wait. Oh, only time will tell if he can overcome her distaste of the nobility as well as win her heart. Let's go. There's going to be some heart winning. I mean, listen, can I be honest? I am not a romance girly, so maybe this is a mistake. I don't know, maybe this author writes romances, but it sounds nice. I'm assuming there's going to be some faith content in here too. Puppy, come here, my love. He's so upset with me. He's so upset. Okay, I think we're in a good mood now. I'm petting him. He seems at peace. I think that's what he wanted, attention. It's usually what he wants. Anyway, so this seems like it's a romance. I'm hoping there's some good faith content in it as well. It seems like it's more historical. I thought this was more fantasy, but it sounds like it's a little bit more historical, but I'm cool with that. I love obviously, Mary, that was a historical fiction too. And so we're going to test this out, see if we like it. Basically, at this point, I mean, it's such a small book too. It's not going to take a lot of my time. But basically, I'm just checking out some authors that I wanted to check out that I've heard from other Christian readers that they liked, so we're going to check it out. But this is the last one. So we have Unbetrothed by Candice Pedraza Yamnitz. I'm sure I said that right. This is also kind of a romance. So I don't know. I'm not a romance girly, but like, I don't know. We're just reading it. So, so when 17-year-old Princess Beatrice, this is also YA, which is good. Princess Beatrice still fails to secure a betrothal, her parents hold the ball. Forming an alliance could mean the difference between peace and war, but Beatrice doesn't want just any suitor. She's in love with her best friend, Prince Lux. Marrying Prince Lux will always be a silly dream as long as she has no magical gift. Princess Beatrice will do whatever it takes to obtain a touch of magic, including making a deadly oath to go on a quest to Valle de los Fantasmas, a valley where no one comes out alive. If she can manage to succeed, Princess Beatrice could have everything she desires and secure peace for her kingdom. If she fails, she'll lose not only her greatest dream, but also her kingdom and maybe even her own life. But Zikri may harbor a dark secret that will threaten her entire kingdom. Will she ever get her lifelong dream to wield magic? Will she choose Lux or Zikri? Who's Zikri? she doesn't mention who that man is. He just came in at the end because he has a dark secret, I guess. Anyway, this is another one that's not a huge commitment. It's pretty small. But I want to check out some YA. I don't actually want to, well, I guess most of this might be YA. I don't know. But I'm, like I said, not big on romances or anything, but I wanted, he was fine while I was petting him and then he left. Um, I wanted to check out some YA to find things that are safe for the future. Things are not good out there. Have you seen the YA section in like any bookstore? It's all dark and spooky and skeletons and people smooching each other or daggers or bloody roses or like really dark stuff. And like if you read even like an inch of it, you're like, what is this talking about? There's a lot of witches, there's a lot of dark, dark things. So I'm just trying to find things that are in a safer and positive light. I think I have to end this video. My cat is not going to stop yowling. So we're gonna leave it there. Anyway, we're trying to find some good fiction books that are fun to read, but reading a lot of nonfiction as well. Of course, number one, reading the Bible, keeping close to the Lord, as always, especially during these dark days. My brothers and sisters, just stay safe out there. Um, keep your mind on what is honoring to the Lord. I'm definitely working on that. I don't want to I just want to have a pure mind, pure heart, and just stay pure before the Lord. So, um, you know, just know that I'm praying for you and, praying for this nation and everything and just the situations at hand. But anyway, what are you guys reading? How are you enjoying? Do you have a cat that just goes crazy sometimes? Like he's literally asleep on my bed right now. No, he's not. He just jumped off my bed. He must have just been laying there for a second. So, do you have pets that drive you crazy while you're in the middle of doing a video? Um, what's your newest read? Have you read any of these books that I just showed, and do you like them? Tell me more. Um, yes, that is my cue. I hope you guys have a good night. Remember that I love you, but Jesus loves you way more. Have a great day.